Crafty paper crafts. I'm here to share a layout with you today and a process video for a layout I did called off-roading, which is to feature my son riding on his quad bike in the garden. So as you've just seen there, you can already see the tyre tracks that run across the white card. What I've done is I've gessoed the background, allowed that to dry, and then I've used the stencil that you just saw and some of the Nouveau embellishment mousse to create that tyre track that runs right across the page, because obviously you can see the big tyres on the quad bike, and I wanted to make that a feature. And then I wanted to feature lots and lots of green for this layout. So what you can see me doing now is just cutting lots and lots of strips of all different green papers that I could find. I found quite a lot just out of my scraps. I don't think I cut into any large sheets for this, and I've just basically collecting loads and loads of strips of paper because I want to give lots of different variations to the green. The green of the go-kart, sorry, not go-kart, the green of the quad bike is very bright. I didn't want it to be, I didn't want to try and match it because I didn't think I'd be able to. So I decided to use lots of different greens to try and bring that in. So what I'm doing now is just cutting them down, laying them, deciding where they're going to go, and sort of intertwining them, if you like, so that you can see bits of all of them sticking out from both sides, and you can get lots of that different variation in green. The white cardstock I'm using is from a Vicky Boutin mixed media paper pad, so it's thicker. As you can see on there, it has still sort of curved up at the top and bottom, but it hasn't gone all wobbly. So I'm just marking on whereabouts I want to do a circle. So I'm going to go off now, and there we go. I've just popped back, and what I've done there is a stitch circle on my sewing machine. So I've used a straight stitch, and then I've also used a zigzag stitch, and I've gone round 3 or 4 times just to give, I didn't want it to look perfect, I wanted it to look quite messy. Just using a scrap of black card here to mat my photograph. I've decided not to cut this one down. I think if I did, I would lose part of what's interesting, and you think you need to see it all on that one, so I left it alone. What I'm doing now is I'm just using my ATG gun, and I'm just placing the strips of paper down behind the photograph, so that you can see all different ones. I take quite a bit of time over this because I need to make sure that they're at the right place on the page, and you can see enough of that circle, you can see enough of the strips, you can see enough of the tyre going through the middle. The placement was quite important. I haven't put a lot of matting on this photograph, and I don't think I put any more on it actually. I would normally mat 2, 3, 4 times, but I haven't done, probably because I'm using so many strips of paper behind this anyway that it didn't need any more. It did need that line of black around just to make it really stand out. I'm just layering up my greens. I think in the end I've got way too many and I don't use them all. So what I'm just doing now is putting some adhesive foam on the back of my picture just to make it pop off the page a little bit. I didn't used to do this, I used to have everything very flat. My layouts recently have become very dimensional, and I like having lots of different things on there. And then what I'm doing now is taking some pieces of ephemera. I've got various bits and pieces from the Lil Dude collection from Simple Stories, and my title here is Off-Roading, so I've got some thickers there. They are black, but they've got like a white stripy section down one side. So I use the thickers for roading, and then I use some little foam letters for the off part. Now these foam letters are actually navy blue, which would not work, so I just took my Stays On black ink pads and I've just inked them up, and as you can see they just sat there drying to one side, so that they do become black. Here I go with adding a few more pieces of ephemera, a few there coming from the Cocoa Vanilla Studio Boys Rule collection. Here comes Off. And then I just mess about with where these different pieces of ephemera are going. I stopped for a moment with the ephemera and I remembered that I had some washi tape that was also those tyre tracks. So just to add another bit of texture to the page, I've put a little bit of the washi tape down each side of the tyre track. Now when I did the tyre track, I actually had the piece of paper washi tape down to the mat on my desk, so that it wouldn't move while I was trying to put that texture paste through. So what actually happened was I ended up with this sort of white border all the way around. So rather than doing anything about it or trying to fill it in, I decided to leave it where it was and have that white border. So I've tried to do the same sort of thing with the edge there, and that is it. I hope you enjoyed this process video, and I look forward to seeing you again soon at Pear Tree Paper Crafts. Happy scrapping!